All right. All right, let's get started. Welcome to the Gunter City Council meeting. It is Thursday, December 4th. It is 6:01 p.m. We're in the Public Safety Building at 105 North 4th Street. All notices were properly posted according to the Texas Open Meetings Act. We do have a quorum. We have one absent, Wade, place 4. And we will open up with our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. Chief, would you like to lead us?
Bow your heads. Dear Lord, we thank you every day for the blessings you bestow upon us daily, Lord. This month in particular, let us be thankful for that you are the reason for the season, Lord. We ask you to be with our men and women fighting and defending this great nation around this world. Lord, be with our police, firefighters, and EMS, emergency responders, Lord. We ask you to be with our citizens, our staff, mayor, and councilmen. Lord, we ask you to watch over us, keep us safe, guide us, protect us, forgive us when we fail you. These things we ask you in heaven's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right. Should be a pretty quick meeting tonight. Do I have any citizens' comments?
No. Okay.
So we need to move to number 2, Director of Parks and Streets report. Adam, do you have updates?
They're quick. I've got a couple.
I'll have a little bit.
All right. I'll give it to you. I'll do it. Let's see. Christmas lights in the park, but I'm going to have the guys wrap the fence because the fences aren't wrapped yet, so that'll be done this week.
Okay.
The signs, you want to know when they're coming in, they're 2 weeks out.
Yes, okay, good.
Okay, so they're 2 weeks out, and that is from the downtown poles and signs, and that's a very large sign order.
Yeah.
Over half the sign budget immediately. I'm meeting with the Woods HOA tomorrow. I'm going to look at some stuff about cleaning the creek areas, discuss that with the board chair and Mr. Linderman, and then discuss the meeting that Eric and I will be attending on Monday. So we'll be attending that month to discuss basically drainage, the broken bow easement, and what we're looking at for the woods right now, the things we're looking at. Next week, I believe I'm meeting with just a little ahead, I'm meeting with the MDD, and that's just to let council know, that's just to give pretty much a very high level park view, still utilizing the plan that was utilized by council, approved by council. And everything else is, that's all that's happened. Thanksgiving was there.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do you have anything, Eric, any updates that are, okay?
I'll go kind of quick, I have a few that,
All right.
most of the stuff I'm sure you guys have seen around town, but I'll mention it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
4-seater apartments, they've got all their COs, they're up and running, they're actually leasing. I think they've got several apartments leased. My understanding is the property is for sale, because I get calls asking about it frequently, but it hasn't sold yet as far as I know. The bank still owns it. Bridges 2A, we've received 6 building permits from Man-Made Homes for that one, and a temporary job trailer, and they should be installing the landscaping and entry sign and those types of things to be best finished up before any houses are completed. Bridges 1B, probably seen out there, the civil plans are approved. They're doing their rough grading, mass grading and stuff going on right now. They're still working through some issues with Mustang Sud. Preserve, as you've seen, got a lot of their mass grading and stuff done, and some of their streets and stuff cut and benched. They're finishing up their utilities with Mustang Sud and the lift station, and then they'll also be starting some retaining walls here pretty soon as well, if they haven't already today. 7th Street Cottages, you've probably seen, they've been doing rough grading. They've been did as much as they could for us on our part of the civil plans. They just got Mustang Sud approval today for their plans and materials, so they'll start doing the sewer and water infrastructure, and then sort following that, they'll do the street paving, obviously. BNSF, as you probably noticed, they're doing a lot of mass grading out there, clearing and burning. So we've had some discussions with them on that while they're doing the burn piles in the county. It would have been nice that the fire marshal in the county and the commission would have let us know, since it is on our district, so they understand that now. Cameron and I have gone out there a couple of times and looked to kind of see what's going on, and it spurred a need that we realized that there's some miscommunication on what was going to be allowed and done within the city portions of the property, which makes sense now that I look at it, because they're actually working on the main track line, and then also doing some clearing and grubbing, and then hauling in a little bit of dirt for the main track line loop that even goes clear south through that 500-foot buffer.
Right.
When I saw that, about lost my freaking mind, and then I came back to my senses and realized, well, they're probably working on the loop, and they talked to us about it. They had the mayor's suggestion and some emails that were going back and forth between us and BNSF, because we still have a very strong, open relationship, open communication. I want to say open relationship with them. So we're going to start having bi-weekly meetings just to discuss what's going on and where they're at on stuff. Their engineer is a K-State alum, so he's pretty cool about doing stuff and communicating with us too. Taylor Ranch and Platinum Ranch, they're doing their mass grading as well. Taylor Ranch, there was already a lot that was done the past 2 years as we were going through, or a year and a half that we were going through the process with the Platinum Loop and all that. But they're actually getting down more into the final grading on that. But the grading that's happening on Platinum will be phase 1 and 2, which is up towards the north west portion of that overall development. And then, let's see, just a cool exciting thing. I talked to Sean Terry with Centurion American. We had a meeting, Adam and I and Cameron did about a month ago with Centurion American, with Sean and his group from Centurion American and Dr. Enos School District regarding Preston Crossing in Maine, and getting a warrant study done for a street signalization there. That we were told today that was released by Centurion American. They got a contract with Friesen Nichols to perform that warrant study today, so they'll get started going on that. That's,
if people don't know, that's a traffic light.
The traffic light.
Like, just in case.
Signalization.
Yeah, in case somebody gives warrant, what does that mean? It's traffic light.
Yeah, so
full
Dr.
text
Enos,
dot to decide if you're going to come in for the signal.
yeah, we had talked to him at one time among a bunch of topics with the mayor there as well, but that was one of them, but we never really got further along with it. And Dr. Enos evidently, we had talked to him on his own, and they basically did what I figured they would do. They said, well, we're not going to do one, and no one's died there yet, whatever.
Right.
So, but we knew they would want to do a warrant study. We just weren't going to foot the bill for doing it. So Centurion American, with us negotiating with them and mediating with the school district, agreed that, yeah, it'll benefit us too. So we'll go ahead and pay for the warrant study, and we'll figure out what type of signalization degree it needs to be if they approve it. Because they'll have to pay
There's a
for
good
that
chance
as well.
they will, because, I mean, before the school, on the school's traffic study, when it came back, and that was September 2023, it was an F. They predicted an F when the school was built.
Which
So
you think would be enough for tech
You
stop,
would
but
think.
their processes and stuff, their TIAs
Yeah.
isn't enough. You have to do the actual warrant study. That's an outline
Right.
procedural process that they have
Exactly.
established.
So I think the two combined, hopefully
I
that'll
think it will too.
get us something. All right.
And I just wanted to add, I forgot, trash. We continue to move forward on trash. It involves, I'm thankful for Deidre,
Y'all staff
Cameron,
is just.
Jamie. We try to involve everybody in trash. Alan, you know.
I've dodged
It is, I know. I was really trying to think, what can I do to get Eric in this
Except
world?
for Texas Bank, and they got a dumpster. I told them they got to do a roll-off, so they're going to close their dumpster. So
It's
that's
pretty
fine.
much every day, but all the pieces are being checked out. We're
A
on
lot of work
schedule.
on that.
So we are on schedule.
I didn't notice you're wearing purple and he isn't. Was there a
I
bet
know.
that we lost?
No, because when we bet Adam's usually the one that loses.
He
so.
usually loses. He
Mine's
always
Purple
loses.
too.
Okay.
It's true.
I mean, look at his watch. That's the bomb.
Yeah. All right, so I don't have any updates or announcements or anything other than the fire Christmas party is Saturday, 5 to 7 Santa at 5:30?
5 to 8.
5 to 8.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why.
Santa at 5:30.
Yeah.
Right.
Santa at 5:30, right?
Deidre is really a subject matter expert. Am I saying all that correctly? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to item number 5, our public hearing. So, as we talked about in our work session, we're waiting on some things. We're not ready for all these TERSs tonight, so we have to go through each one to continue them to December 18th. So on number 5, that is the public hearing. It remains open from October 2nd. We're pushing it to December 18th. I'm gonna need a motion and a vote to do that though.
Make a motion that we move the public hearing for Platinum Ranch to 12/18.
This, yes, this was actually Taylor Ranch, TERS number 3, the hearing on TERS number 3. Correct? Yes, that's Taylor Ranch.
This is
I think
platinum.
this is Platinum.
Platinum.
First one's fine.
Number 5 is platinum.
Number 5, am I right? Number 5?
But it says TERS 3. TERS 3 is Taylor. Platinum is TERS number 4. So 5 and 6 should be.
No, platinum is TERS number 3.
Why don't you make the motion
Is
for
that
TERS
TERS
number
number
instead of the name?
Let's do it by TERS number.
Okay, TERS
We
number
gotta
3.
fix that because we didn't do TERS number 3. The old council did. They did Taylor Ranch. We did Platinum.
I will
TERS number
amend,
4.
I will amend that to say that we will move public hearings for TERS number 3 to 12/18.
Okay. We got it first with Jerry,
I second it.
second with William, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, that motion carries. The ordinance that goes with it, item number 6. We will need to do the same.
Make a motion to continue the ordinance for TERS 3 to the 18th of December.
All right, Howard the first, William with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous, motion carries. Number 7 is the public hearing for TERS number 4.
Same exact motion.
I will make the motion to extend the discussion,
Public hearing.
the public hearing for the TERS to the 18th of December.
All right, a first with Pat,
Second.
second with William, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous, motion carries. Number 8, the ordinance that goes with TERS number 4.
I'll make a motion that we move, continue ordinance for TERS number 4 to 12/18.
All right, Jerry with the first,
Second.
William with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous, motion carries. Number 9, public hearing on TERS number 1.
This one we have to open.
We actually do have to open it, but then continue it. So I'm gonna open it at 6:13. Do I have anybody here who wants to speak on it? I mean, I don't think so.
We all love that word.
We'll just keep it open. All right, seeing none, so we're gonna,
No, I need a motion to continue.
yeah, we need a motion to keep it open, continue it
Motion
to
to
the
continue and keep it open.
Yep.
Until the 18th?
18th. All right,
I'll
William with the first, Alan with the second, all in favor? All right, that's unanimous, motion carries. And then the ordinance to go with TERS number 1.
Make a motion for the ordinance for TERS number 4, correct?
One.
TERS
number
number 1, to continue it to December 18th.
Pat with the first,
I'll second.
Alan with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And then let me go ahead and clarify your TERSs. The way
Yes.
they are, if this is correct. Your TERS 1 is bridges 1A, TERS 2 is bridges
2A.
2A, platinum is TERS 3, Taylor is TERS 4.
That's so weird. I guess because did they never initiate the creation ever in the last 3 years?
The creation
Yes,
of
we did it all at the
Taylor,
same time and
no,
they did platinum.
all the same.
Okay.
So I just want to get that out there.
Nope, I'm glad you said that
This Taylor
because
just got annexed in.
it's just out
Yeah.
of order. It's weird. Okay. So, that brings us to number 11. This is the discuss, consider, act on authorizing staff to move forward with the D&M commercial leasing for the emergency service vehicle. As discussed, this was budgeted previously, all within the same parameters. The number was a not to exceed number, and this is kind of just.
I make a motion
bringing back-
to approve the moving forward of the leasing of one emergency vehicle as stated.
Okay, Pat with the first,
I'll second.
Jerry with the second, all in favor? That's unanimous, motion carries, and we're on number 12. Consider and act upon a resolution accepting city council relations policy, code of ethics, city council meeting rules of procedure and decorum. And y'all have your updated ones in front of you, so if we have You wanna make a
And
motion?
there were not major changes.
Yeah.
I simplified some of the numbering in the document. The paragraph 2.1.2 identifies as alderman's responsibilities and the mayor's responsibilities and alderman's responsibilities so that those things are defined.
And then all the
then-
extras include all of us.
Yeah, if it
including the board
says
member.
city council, it's all of you. If it's
Yes.
just mayor, it's just mayor. If it's alderman, it's just alderman, or it says mayor and alderman.
Yeah.
Under the code of conduct, I added, besides mayor, alderman, I also added board and commission members. Because even though
It's for all of us.
in the front of the document, we say this applies to all board and commission members.
Yeah.
It's never a bad idea to just throw them in there too, when you think about it and see a spot where it would be good. So I added their information there. Let's see, I'm trying to remember the next major change was attending. I think aldermen are encouraged to attend TML hosted events. And if the city pays for aldermen to attend an event and you do not go to that event, and the city has incurred a non-refundable cost, then the alderman would be responsible, oh, not all, just alderman, anybody, alderman,
Anyone.
board, mayor, whoever. If the city's paid for you to go and you don't go and the city can't get a refund, then you have to refund that to the city.
Even during an emergency?
That would be something that you could decide if you wanted an emergency exception. I did not put an emergency exception in.
I think we should have one, but we also want to make sure, and I didn't read, I didn't see this, Courtney, is it specific to TML or is it any training? Because really it should be any training.
It really should be any training. We only
Yeah.
talked about encouraging everybody to attend TML events.
Yeah.
But I can change that to be any kind of, continuing
we-
education
Yes, if we do something
for,
with the,
So I'm gonna make a
City
motion to
government.
open this item
For
for
discussion?
discussion since we're already discussing it.
get Pat with a motion to open to discuss. Second with William. All right, so that would be my 2 cents on that. It's not just TML, it would be any training. If for example, we signed an MDD board member up for some sort of economic development training and then they didn't go or didn't utilize it or whatever, then it would be the same thing. I think it should apply to everybody. Yes, I agree. Not just us. What was the other one?
the last major change was the addition of an enforcement paragraph, which is the last paragraph on page 19.
Yeah, I think that's better. We're not gonna try to remove somebody their seat or keep you from coming to a meeting or anything like that.
Who would be providing ethics training?
Probably find something through TML or through Texas Ethics Commission or something like that.
Yeah, if it's something that has risen to if it's an ethics violation that has risen to the level of
Needing to address.
it's come before the city council and the council has said, yep, you violated our ethics ordinance and we think you need ethics training, then it would most likely be through the Texas Ethics Commission.
And that's free.
I have no idea.
Well, the Texas Ethics Commission does election ethics, doesn't do general ethics for anything and everything.
Then maybe the Attorney General's office or the Secretary of State, a state agency that provides ethics training.
Got it.
You
So-
better have a good idea how you're gonna do it if you're gonna try to enforce it. I wouldn't have something, you have no idea how to even accomplish it once you decided you're gonna have it done.
TEC does have training for like leadership, like, cause I did it just for the fun of it. I mean,
I'll repeat what I said last time we talked about this. I think y'all are gonna regret adopting this. There's a lot of things in here that are troublesome. When you talk about decorum is really not enforceable. You can enforce rules about not disrupting the meeting, so you can have rules like you can't clap so loud nobody can hear you. You can enforce rules about requiring that aldermen yield time when time's given, or speakers yield time. You can enforce rules about not inciting people to violence, but that's about it. If I want to tell Jerry I don't like his beard and he looks like a trash can, I can do it, and you can't stop me because it's a First Amendment right. So this is very, very dangerous grounds, and you open yourself up to lawsuits and complaints and any number of other things because you can't regulate these things. They're not regulable, and if you don't like what somebody says, I mean, sorry, too bad. First Amendment says you can say a lot of things that you don't like to hear. So
it does,
it's
but
gonna
when you do it matters.
also, this thing tries to adopt some modicum of Robert's rules.
Yeah.
And I think if you're gonna adopt Robert's rules, you should just say we're adopting Robert's rules, not.
And I would disagree with you on that because Robert's rules does not always fit governmental entities. It's really made for corporations and businesses.
And the book's
and
this thick.
And that's why we
I don't wanna violate it.
cases that
Because
were.
I don't wanna violate it.
Because Robert's rules has deliberative body sections in it, and it's made for deliberative bodies when you use it. But if you're gonna adopt Robert's rules without adopting all the rules, then what happens when you get outside of the 2 pages that you adopted? What do you do then? I mean.
You enforce just the ones that are within the adoption, because you don't have to adopt everything.
Well, and typically we advise that city councils use Robert's rules as a guideline, adopt certain provisions, like whether or not you want to have a first and a second before you debate. Not all cities do that.
Right.
Whether or not you know, how you want to handle things. And that's why we put the ones that are most commonly used by city councils in a rule of procedure.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else you deal with as it. And you can use Robert's rules as a guide for all of those other non-common matters.
So my next question is that we work for the constituents, right?
That's right.
So if the constituents don't like something, we have a recall process, correct, city council members?
No, you're not a home rule city.
Yeah.
That's only in home rule cities.
General laws don't.
I mean, but
The
then
recall
eventually
process
you're,
is you don't vote for them.
yeah, but eventually you run into the point where that person would no longer be elected, correct?
Exactly.
Right, it's every 2 years, your seat becomes.
Yeah, because sometimes,
You're up again.
you know, in a world, some people like an abrasive person to be on a council member or not. And let me speak, because I know you're about to pull the trigger on something. But I personally don't think that this is a great idea, and I think that this should be a guide, not necessarily written and enforceable and everything else, because in the end, people are elected to these seats. And if enough people don't like you, then when your election comes up, you don't get reelected. And I personally, like you said, there's First Amendment rights for a reason. But then again, there are certain situations where an individual crosses a line. And then at what point do we address when you cross a line as an individual, right? Because yes, this should be a forum where everybody can communicate effectively, but passion does come into effect.
Sure.
And
the Supreme Court's told us where the line is. The line is when you physically disrupt the meeting, you incite violence, or you fail to yield time. I mean, that's it. That's the 3 things we can regulate. Nothing else is touchable.
Yeah.
And this goes so far beyond that. And it's like, to your point, Pat, if somebody doesn't like the way an alderman's behaving, they're not going to get reelected. You can't force people to be genteel and decorous by passing a resolution or a guideline or a set of rules.
I think what this is doing is, like Jerry mentioned a while back, is that what it does is it brings accountability. You know that if you know that you can be censured or publicly humiliated because you did something that was out of line.
But who's going to decide that?
The council would.
But it's not the council's job, it's the voters' job.
Why isn't it?
It's the voters'
It's our
job.
meeting and the way we want to present ourselves to the public. Of course, it's ours to decide. I think it is because, I mean, I absolutely think it's ours to decide.
This was actually a 30-minute conversation, class at TML, actually. This very thing on the code of ethics and the code of conduct, for city council members. And
They actually
I'll tell
recommended
you,
doing it.
probably better than 95% of this is almost verbatim what we're over at TML. There was a few others, because if you look, there's actually no, even in the enforcement here, there is no, I guess, there is no enforcement, like, you know.
So why have it?
Well, because
Censure.
what this
guideline.
does is this sets you, it sets examples, and it sets a tone of what the expectation is gonna be for the city council members, for the board members, for the, you know, even for the mayor. So that
And for the public.
And for the public, so that we don't have situations where
Disruptions.
we have disruptions, where we have someone who is just extremely vocal and you're right. I mean, speaking up and having a First Amendment right, and, you know, saying, you know, having free speech and say what you want to say, it's perfectly fine. But when it bleeds over to personal attacks,
But
It
even
can go
personal
in.
attacks are protected, Jerry. Like I said, if you don't like my shirt and you wanna complain that I wear a blue shirt every time, you can say that, right? There's nothing anybody can do about it. It's when it gets to the point where they're so noisy
it's
that it
disruptive.
disrupts the meeting, right?
yes.
And you don't need this to have that, because that power is already there, okay? When it gets to the point where someone's saying, you know, get a rope, hang them, all right, and inciting violence, that is protected, you can control that. When someone fails to yield time, you can control that. But saying, you gotta be nice, you can't personally attack
It's
somebody's
not saying you have
haircut.
to be
Didn't
nice.
say any of that.
This does though, this is full of that, this goes far
I don't
beyond,
think it does.
massively beyond.
I personally don't feel that a group of adults need to be told how to run a meeting, unless, like, if that's how, if you want to put a rule as like how we run a meeting, absolutely. But we work for the constituents of our community, and they should have the final say on if someone should be censured or anything like that. Because maybe the group of individuals that voted for an individual that is abrasive want that individual to be abrasive. That's why he got elected, or she got elected. So I see where this is going, and I see your passion for this. I just don't think that, but I think that I live in a world where, and I support a world where you don't need regulation to tell people how to behave. Like, you
I
shouldn't.
wish that were the case.
But you shouldn't.
I wish
Because
that was the world we
because
lived in.
people are allowed to be passionate,
Of course.
people are allowed to speak their mind,
Of course.
and people are allowed to speak how they should. Now, as you stated, there are the three areas where you cannot cross the line, and that's already been discussed. I honestly thank you for your work on this, but I don't think it's applicable for our community right now.
Courtney, what happens, because this question, what brought this on is that there was the question of censoring came up. And without something like this, we don't have the ability to do that.
Correct.
So you just have to let it go.
And this started out as not just
It also puts the burden on me to do something I might not otherwise want to do.
well, and this
To
was
maintain
actually only
order.
brought up, this is actually the second time this has been brought up, but it actually was coming from me, and the reason I had even mentioned this to begin with is I have sat through 20 years from the city councils, off and on, and I've seen not just one group, and it's, unfortunately, we have 2 residents here of 2,500. Odds are, they're not gonna be the ones that are gonna speak up, because I know both of these young ladies, they're very quiet, they're not gonna speak up to you anyway, okay?
It happened
If
at a
you go,
meeting
if you
recently
see the
though.
past, of past things that have happened in councils, there's nothing in this that is stepping the line as far as I'm concerned. It's simple stuff like, if you go to, if the city spends money on you, you're gonna reimburse the city if you don't go. I don't see that that's a problem. If it says in here that you're not one to disrupt the meeting, then I mean, I just see the problem. I think
But
this is
Jerry, you
ridiculous.
don't need 19 pages to say that.
Well, I agree that there's probably a little bit of.
I don't know what's in here, because this is really completely reformatted from what we got in the package.
No,
but
it's actually, it's not.
I just wanna, I'll point out a few things from the old one.
Yeah, it's really, there's only
Um,
about maybe a half a page in the whole thing that's actually new.
So the only thing I don't like is that government loves to do this. If they don't like something that a citizen does, they create a regulation that they can enforce to make you obey them. And I know that you said that if that was truly was your intent, then there was absolutely no reason to write that last paragraph on page 19.
Okay, so,
Again, it's not an ordinance, it's a resolution. We're just coming into agreement that this is how we act.
I'm saying you don't need that if you're truly,
We kind of,
the intent is to be, hey, everybody be good people, then everybody be good people. But passion is passion, and you're
exactly, but this goes way beyond what y'all are talking about. I'll give you some examples. Okay, I'm not gonna go through every single one of these, but 2.1.2.5. Aldermen shall ensure that city employees are adequately paid. How are aldermen gonna ensure that? Why even put that in there? Why does that need to be in here?
that's just a responsibility.
Why does it need to be?
Well, because a lot of people come to the dais brand new and don't really know their lane.
Okay. But how is an alderman going to personally ensure that employees are adequately paid?
and then I can't go to an employee and disrupt their day
That's part of your,
and ask them if they're getting paid adequately because I have to go through you.
well, and I mean, that's part of the budget process.
Each alderman shall review the.
And it is a responsibility.
But again, you can't enforce it, so why write it down? Again, if the alderman doesn't keep up with what needs to be kept up with, the citizens aren't gonna re-elect him.
The citizens don't always
You can't
know.
make a good alderman by passing a bunch of rules.
This just is a resolution that we're all on the same page, and it allows somebody to be censured if it, the question's been asked before. And Courtney said, you can't censure somebody if you don't have any sort of a guideline to say, hey,
This is inappropriate.
we're supposed to act like this and you act like that. So that's what brought this to be created in the first place.
So 2.1.2.11, you can't have unprofessional, disrespectful, or poor behavior. Okay, hopefully you don't have that, but if you do, so what? And then if you do it, how are you gonna enforce it? Again, this is like trying to make polite people out of impolite people, and you can't do it with rules. I mean, we could go through every page y'all want, but I mean, if they're all like this, how are you gonna enforce these things? Aldermen shall preserve order and decorum. Order, yes. Decorum, you can't enforce. The Supreme Court's told you you can't enforce decorum. I mean, if I wanna sit here and swear every other word and use it in place for a comma, I can, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Except the constituents who won't elect me back.
Well, cities put things like that in their charters all the time.
What?
And
they
that's
get
just
sued
right
for it
around
all
the
time.
corner. Well, they all have it.
Well,
I mean,
why
No,
have it
it's
if
just-
we don't need it? What is the problem we're trying to solve? It's like we've got a hammer here, but we don't know where the nail is.
somebody asked to be censured, to censure, and we didn't have an ability to do it. So that's what.
What is the outcome of censuring somebody do?
The very last page of this, where it's basically public humiliation.
So we're gonna
It's on the
publicly
public record.
humiliate
No,
people.
if I've insulted Patrick because of his haircut,
I would say
and then
so.
you come around and censure me, do you think that's gonna stop me from
I
doing
don't
it
think
again?
that's something that somebody would censure you for.
Well, then,
What I'm
but
saying is
that's
that,
what this,
what is
that's
the
what
intent
rules
of
say. I can't
censuring
say
somebody?
something derogatory
do?
about another alderman.
It's a public reprimand, because you can't remove a council member. Only a court can do that, especially in general law. Now, maybe in a charter, there's other ways you might be able to. At TML, they were talking about somebody who had a class B felony or a hate, and they couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
With a felony on the record, but that's a whole nother topic. It's just, you can't, it's a reprimand. It's a formal reprimand. Cities do it all the time. But if you don't have some sort of a guideline in place where this is how we act as a body, then you can't do that. So, and again, it would be up to the council as a whole to decide whether or not that crossed the line of expected behavior and how we want to present ourselves to the public. Because you got to remember, businesses, developments, developers, all sorts of people look at us to go, are they somebody I want to work with? Do I want to go in and present to them and like work with them? Or are they crazy?
Yeah, well,
And sometimes you look at meetings and you go, they're crazy.
yeah, well, I think that's passion. Some
It's
people
not
call
always
passion
passion.
crazy, and I think that people are
Nothing wrong with
entitled to,
passion.
and people are allowed to speak their mind. And I would never want to be a part of a piece of paper that would limit somebody from speaking their full mind. Now, censoring somebody in public, humiliating him, I don't think that's I mean, you say that he used a reference earlier that there's 2 individuals at this council meeting today. Then your comment was, well, how are they going to find out anyways? So say you publicly censor somebody, does that effectively accomplish something when there's 2 constituents of our community here today? Like say you censored me today for a comment,
Right.
and there's only 2 individuals here to talk about it. Did that accomplish your goal?
What's on you?
As a censorship, did that accomplish your goal?
Why does anyone need to be
Corrective behavior.
censored? What is the
But
point?
you really can't correct behavior because the person could do it again and again and again
Sure.
and again, all the way up until that person's reelection
At
comes
what
up.
point does it start disturbing the meeting when they're doing it over and over and over?
Well, is it disturbing? Because then you're now affecting. You can actually do something because the Supreme Court said you can if the person's enabling disrupting
Well,
the.
but sure, like if I'm doing this, and you can't hear Patrick, and I'm hitting the table, that's actionable.
Yeah, that you can take action on it.
But
let me just, I'm just gonna cut to the
Talk
bone.
about where it came
I'm
from.
gonna cut to the bone, okay? Where this whole thing came from, honestly, William, was the meeting where you flat blew up.
The
And,
tax.
and, attacked Karen and was saying things, like, Karen knows everything, Karen has all the rules. It was so loud, you were so loud that you wouldn't even let her talk. Then you sit there and accused the 3 of us of being in her pocket, okay? Because you were so high up on this soapbox at that day that we couldn't even get anything accomplished. You almost had her broken down. She was so befuddled that she couldn't even speak. That's where it all came from.
so do you think this would stop that?
No, I think what it would, because I think if there would have been an opportunity to have said, hey, William, you crossed the line and, you were disruptive. And if anybody that was watching this on video, if they would have been a developer out there that would have saw that, I think they would have really thought twice about ever coming to the city board or the city council and wouldn't have anything to do with this city if they had aldermen and councilmen who were acting that way. I really think they would have just walked away from it. I really do. But that's where it
Tax
came
meeting was
from.
pretty bad.
That's what it came from.
That,
It was
And
the-
tax
it was-
meeting was really
And
bad.
that was a separate meeting when he said that.
There were
about
2,
the being in the pocket.
That was a
Yeah.
different one.
Yeah.
It was clicks and likes for, we're gonna reduce the taxes 12% straight across the
Yes.
board without looking at,
And
do we even have
But
the
then,
ability?
but then again,
What
I
was
think-
disruptive
I
in that
think-
one though was when I closed the public tax hearing. And you wanted Christopher Donahoe to come up again after I told him we're not talking about budget, we're talking about tax.
I think it was the individual that was sitting in the very
And
back.
then, well, that was the second one, was another individual that you wanted him to come up and I'd already closed it. I made that clear. Then he came up and he didn't even live in the city. He's a county person. It doesn't matter. He doesn't pay our taxes. So
I think something that would have prevented that from happening would be explaining prior to a special meeting where there was only one area to communicate from the public to us. Because as soon as we open, and I was a newer alderman at the time, is that we started discussing a whole lot of other things that they're like, well, now I want to talk about it. Because now you're engaging in conversation with us, which enlightened our public. Now, hey, I know that you multiple times because I was sitting right next to you, and I could hear the frustration in your voice in that situation. I think it's more of a we maybe need to do a public outreach process and educate the public on how we run our meetings better. And I think that would hopefully hey, if you've got absolutely anything to say about anything, this is your time to speak. Or maybe we need to have those discussions that are not
It's
during.
right here though, Pat.
Oh, I get it. Trust me. Like
The
we're
audience
just like we're
wishing to
gonna.
speak must be recognized by the presiding
Yeah,
officer.
just like we're
Over
gonna have what
and
you could
over
put in a
again.
recycling bin on top of the recycling bin, but
Right.
people are still gonna put the wrong things inside of it. It's exactly the same thing. And I think educating and you can write this all day and people may or may not read it. And I think
And I
that's
explained it though that
Yeah.
day,
Oh,
that this is your
trust-
last chance.
trust me, ma'am, I understand what
Right.
you're saying, but that's
Yeah.
not gonna relieve passion from a group. That's not gonna relieve people from wanting to think that they have the right because we work for them to communicate to us on a subject. And I think that that's a little bit of the issue that we had that day, which caused a lot of passion to happen.
Well, and it was not there. It was
just,
the
it was
board
beyond
needs to
what it
talk,
should have been.
and the board needs to communicate with each other
Well, it's our
in a
meeting,
way,
and that's
in a
the
way,
whole
though,
point.
that portrays the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and if we look like we're going against each other, we don't have to agree, and we're not going to agree. And
No.
obviously, I mean, this is a perfect example right here. We're
Yeah.
not going to agree, but we need to at least have a unified front that says, even if we don't agree, I'm going to respect you. And there was no respect that day.
Yeah.
No,
That's what it was.
I see that happen in Congress every day.
That's what.
You watch some C-SPAN
It was
and you'll
getting
see
worse and worse.
and you'll see it in
This is
Congress
me.
as well.
This is our meeting, she runs it, but there was also the accusation, why do you even run the meeting? It's
Well,
your
it
job.
was when you said, how about we time you?
Yeah,
And
that's
I was
where it
like,
came
that crossed the line, and we're better now.
That's where it came from.
We're beyond that.
Honestly, I don't think that crossed the line. It didn't interrupt the meeting, and it's an opinion that I expressed that everyone should have
But
there
you
should be
said it
some
in
constraint
response
on how long people talk.
to me explaining that citizen comments were closed. They do have to be, it's our meeting for the purpose of we are here. And what I meant by we are the participants, that comes straight from, what's his name, Victoria's attorney, Thomas
Oh,
Gwad's, GWODZ.
I never say his last
I
name.
know, I can't remember how to. He's the
correctly.
one I won the pickle basket in his seminar.
Thomas Gwardarski.
I get his
Yes.
every year.
Gwardarski or something like that.
Yeah, so his seminars are great, but that literally is what he taught us to say, is that you are the participants. You gotta remember, the people at this table, we are doing the city's business. That's what they put you here for, right? So they don't get to interrupt and participate other than that 3 minutes, because we are supposed to hear them, right? And that's what the open meetings is about. They have their right to watch how we deliberate, how we come to conclusions, what we think, because they vote whether or not they like your thinking, whether or not they want to put you back in. But at the same time, if it was everybody just gets to talk when they want, we'd never get out of here, we'd never get
No,
anything done.
There's no meeting
When you
structure.
close that moment,
That's the problem is that
it's
they don't understand the
closed. You
structure.
don't get to keep talking from out there because you had your moment. Now it's for us. So when they go, well, you get to talk, or maybe we need to time you. We're the participants. So no, and I would never time you either.
I don't think anyone was suggesting that we just let people have a free-for-all.
But they were doing it. It was
And it was being-
nonstop.
and
I
it
was
being
interrupted.
loud.
I never anticipated having to, and I hope I never have another meeting because I won't be as nice.
The tough part was, it was being loud.
It was
She was being
incredibly
overruled
disruptive.
of stopping it. It was,
Incredibly disruptive.
I want to hear this person, I want to hear this person. Well, we're not running the meeting, she is.
Yeah, I believe that
We are part
Jerry
of the
actually agreed with William to allow somebody to communicate.
So that William would calm down.
Just so we could
Yeah.
get back on track.
So we could get back on track.
See, we resolved it ourselves.
Back on track, it was 3 minutes. Why can we not be generous enough to give 3 minutes?
Well,
Because
I'll
we
agree
had
with that.
closed it and I had given
It was-
him
it
the
was when we were in
opportunity.
the
I
middle of
can't
the
keep
subject.
opening it
Yeah.
back up. It's not fair because you know what happens? At this meeting, somebody could go, well, at the tax meeting, you let somebody speak afterward.
Why
It
can't we
could
do
go
this
on
then?
and on and on. You have to like
That was a-
start.
That was a fairly unique issue with a lot of
I don't think
unusual
it was,
information
and
brought
that-
up. It
That
was-
man didn't even live here.
How do we know who lives here and who doesn't?
Well, he said it when he stood up to the podium. But the point is that he had an opportunity, and I went back and I watched that. I asked on multiple, like, this is it. This is your last chance. Is there anybody else?
Yeah.
I counted to 5. Okay, I'm closing citizen comments. It's done. it has to go that way, because as we get busier and busier and we have all this stuff to do,
We'll get the crazy from Austin, the one that's in Plano.
Well, you
We'll
guys
get to
keep
that point later.
mentioning the crazy from Austin, but we don't have the crazy from Austin.
well,
right
not
now.
yet.
Y'all are worrying about something that hasn't happened and probably isn't ever going to happen.
Well, I'm not even worried about that. They get 3 minutes, period. And
Well-
then you sit down, because that's the rules. Those are the
We
rules.
just don't want
But getting back on
Get
topic,
banged up.
which
Yeah.
is this, not
Right.
a meeting that happened in the past and we moved on past it. When it comes to something like this, you're making this rule and this regulation that will go into effect for the rest of Gunter, correct?
Yeah, it's
So
for
who's
all
to say that in the future somebody's
Well,
perspective on decorum is not skewed and then starts going bananas?
Well, that's why you have the whole body. The whole body would have to agree to censure somebody. Everybody here would have to discuss that and go, okay, this is worthy of a censure.
Yeah, I just
And you understand, this is a resolution too, it's not a.
It's not an ordinance.
that's what I'm saying. It's a
not a law.
resolution. So
It's a resolution on law.
It's kind of like handing something, it's like a, you
Yeah.
know, here's what we expect.
I don't like regulations.
That's
That's
all
a
it is.
policy.
It's a
It's
policy.
a
It's a policy.
policy and procedures.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not,
Not a law.
I don't.
we're not carving it in
Right.
stone.
Well, are we done discussing it? So you want to vote on it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm,
I'll make a
If we're gonna
motion,
use
I'll make a
Robert's
motion.
rules,
right, call it a question, yeah.
I'll make the motion that we accept, the city council resolution policy, or relations policy for procedures and decorum.
All right, so I have Jerry with the first to approve,
I'll second it.
second with
We
Alan,
need to.
then all in favor,
Nay.
all opposed?
Nay.
All right, so we've got a 2-2.
And I would say that we need to wait till Wade's here to vote on this.
Well, Wade had an opportunity, and he's not here, and I'm gonna break the tie, and this is gonna pass.
That's never a good thing.
What's that? I'm a
Rules.
tiebreaker.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be, so. It's never a good thing.
That's the state, William,
No,
that's
I'm saying
that's
for this,
statutory.
It's not a good position to ever put yourself in.
Well, then tell the legislatures, the legislature, not me.
There's no rush to pass this, it can wait till Wade's here.
It's not. Jerry has been asking for this for a while.
Well, then I wanna ask to put this back
I'm
on the
not gonna-
agenda next time.
Well,
when
it
Wade
just
is here, and
passed.
we'll unpass it.
Okay. All right. Well,
Since the next agenda item is putting things on the agenda, that's what I would like to have. is
You
it
wanna bring back
on the
decorum.
agenda when the full council is here and Wade can put his opinion in.
all right.
I think it's
So I've got,
extraordinarily, I mean, this is shotgunning this thing through, and
it's not, we've been
put
talking about it for
together well.
months.
It's
You're
not
on our
put
third
together
revision.
well. It's
This
got
is
a
the
bunch
third
of
time.
problems in it.
Third
Wade
revision.
is not here and you're taking.
Wade had
advantage
an
of it.
opportunity to be here. If you're not here,
Okay,
you
will
don't get to
put
vote
it
on
the
what's
agenda for
here.
next meeting?
Do what?
Will you put it on the agenda for next meeting to
Yes.
revisit this?
I will
So
put it
Wade
back.
can vote on it?
I will put it back on. Is there
There was
anything
no
else?
emergency that this needed to be voted on tonight.
No,
Jerry brought it. It's the third time.
I just want to say one thing.
He
though.
made a motion.
Last week, or the last meeting we had, okay, and I just want to make sure I'm clear on this.
Yeah.
The last meeting that we had, when I handed this out, and I said, this is my revisions, I said, because we were supposed to actually discuss it at the last meeting. That was when we originally approved we were gonna talk about it. Okay, but nobody brought any revisions up. I had my revisions that day, and I said,
And you passed it all
here's
out.
my revisions, I'll pass it to everybody. I said, we're going to talk about this in 2 weeks. If you have questions or revisions, you need to bring them. Did you bring any revisions?
I didn't bring revisions because I don't think we need the thing at all.
I agree.
Why would
That's
I
why I didn't
revise
tag
it?
it in.
Why would I revise something we don't need?
Don't need it.
And that's
It's
okay,
not
because that's your vote. And that was your vote. And that was your vote, and that was your vote.
It's a matter of any
You can't
member who
enforce
comes
it, why
on
have
in the
it?
future.
It's like creating a law that you can't enforce.
So I'm gonna come in every night and say, fuck you, Pat.
Appreciate you.
Come in and say, fuck you, William, and you guys are gonna have to censure us for it every night.
I love you.
I mean, I think it's inappropriate, but I'm not gonna send you for something like that.
But that's what the rules say.
But disrupting the meeting when the presiding officer has opened and then closed a public hearing, and then you say, no, I'm bringing it back up, you don't have the authority to do that, William. So when I tried to stop it, it was incredibly inflammatory. Now, we've had good meetings since then, and you and I get along, but that night was bad.
Everything y'all brought up is not a.
And when you said, well, maybe
This
we need to
addresses
time you,
dozens of
that
things
was
there.
inappropriate. I think that was beyond what should have been said. I think that is wildly out of line. Maybe we should time you. I'm the presiding officer. everybody up here needs to be able to talk until we get the business done, period. And that was a presentation I needed to give you guys because a lot of things changed.
And I think that that's what led to a lot of the passion that night was that people were
No,
talking to people
came
about
with an agenda.
the reason why it's because it's taxes. It's tax rates.
It
It
is.
doesn't matter what.
Tax rates
It's
is
every single one of those meetings is going to be extremely passionate.
It wasn't
and-
the year before,
Well, that's not that year. And
Yeah.
Before we did a no.
But we keep referring to.
But they didn't know
conduct
that.
as passionate.
They did know.
that
Yeah,
was
it
no,
is
that was
passionate.
after
Your
we
your
posted
perspective
all
of
the
conduct
same stuff.
is
Here's the
gonna be
high
skewed
end,
than
vote
mine.
approval.
I've seen a
Here's
lot
the
of
low
passion
end.
in life.
They didn't know
But
that, and they still
somebody
first.
was observing.
Then we voted. So they didn't know that, but this last tax meeting was wildly out of control.
Somebody
Because
was
they were
observing
agitated.
as
We
opposed
really
to
should be
passionate.
moving on to the
We
next
should be
agenda
moving on.
item because
Yes.
this has been voted on.
It's been voted on.
over.
So he wants to bring decorum back. Is there anything else that you guys need to put on the agenda that you can think of?
I'm working on an ordinance, but it's not ready to be presented yet.
Okay. So make sure, again, you know, all the steps.
Trust me, I'm doing my homework first and then I'll bring
And
it.
then go into staff and all that good stuff. Okay, so if nobody has anything else, we will adjourn at 6:52.